You can only attract who you already are. If you're a burglar, you're gonna find yourself in a prison with other burglars. If you have emotional problems, you're gonna keep finding yourself dating crazy over and over. So the only way to date a woman who you're truly excited about, who's a catch, is not by chasing or convincing her to be with you. It's by becoming a 10 out of 10 and then effortlessly attracting her. Now, how do you become a 10 out of 10? Well, like a 3 out of 10 woman who puts on lipstick and acts like a 10 out of 10, you can't just learn dating theory and pretend that you're a dime. Okay, you're not gonna buy it. The girl isn't either. This is a shift that can only take place in your core being. In this video, I'm gonna teach you how to shift your identity, and this is something that took me from a guy who women actively disliked to a guy who can now help other men attract their dream partners. Now, step one is to understand how your self-image limits your confidence and your ability to date beautiful women. Because if you believe that you're not worthy of a girlfriend, if you believe that that girl is out of your league, or it's just not in your cards to have quality relationships in your life, then nothing else matters. Okay, you could be rich, you could have a Porsche, you could have a six pack, you could know all the lines, all the dating theory. It's all gonna come crumbling down because you're limited by your self-image. And I'll give you 3 reasons how this actually plays out in reality. Okay, number 1, you're going to avoid women. If you believe that you don't deserve to succeed in dating, you're not gonna go out Friday night, you're not gonna go out Saturday night, you're not gonna say hi to the cute brunette in the Starbucks line because your brain is just telling you no. It's in a pattern of avoidance, of ego protection. And so what's gonna happen is this belief that you have about yourself that it might be, oh, I'm too shy, I'm too anxious, I don't deserve a cute girlfriend. It's just gonna get reinforced. Every single time that you see that girl and you don't take that action, but you really want to. It's a perpetuating cycle. Now, the second reason, how this actually plays out is through your subcommunication. Okay, so in the past, I used to have a problem with only being confident with women who were I wasn't that excited about, if you understand what I'm saying. But when it was a very attractive girl who I was excited about, I lacked conviction in my voice. So I would do the introduction or I would do the open, but it was weak. It was soft. It was like I really didn't want to be there and I didn't believe that I was even worthy to start a conversation. So I might go up and be like, hey, excuse me, I thought you were cute and I wanted to say hi. And it would be half-assed. I wouldn't actually take that full step and take a shot. And maybe I could get into a conversation with one of these more attractive women. But at the end, I would also ruin it, because I'd be fumbling around when I would try to ask for the number. I didn't believe that I was actually worthy of going on a date with this girl or that she would actually give me her number. So there was uncertainty. There was no certainty in my voice. It was like, hey, do you maybe think we could hang out sometime? I don't know. I could maybe grab your number. Okay, and when a girl is experiencing a guy with that subcommunication, she's not gonna follow your lead. No, because she senses that you don't believe in yourself. You must not have a lot of social value. She doesn't feel like you could protect her. All right, or maybe, I would even get one of these girls' numbers, or I would go on a date with one of these women, but I would self-sabotage. Once again, I didn't really believe that I was worthy. So maybe I would get the number and I just wouldn't text back. I just wanted to avoid, I was stuck in this identity where I wasn't dating the woman I wanted. I didn't believe in myself. So I just cut ahead. Oh, maybe if I start dating this girl, she's gonna find out that I'm really weird, that I'm not worthy to be with her. Oh, maybe if I date this girl, she's gonna cheat on me. Okay, I was stuck in this identity. So it doesn't matter how much dating theory you know, you're going to self-sabotage, you're not going to have conviction in your voice. So now you know how important this self-image actually is. Step number 2 is actually about shifting your identity. Okay, you can reinvent who you are. You can be exactly who you want to be. That's something they say in kindergarten that we all forget, but it's true. You can sort of build yourself up like Build-A-Bear, like a video game character in the beginning of the game. Okay, and be the 10 out of 10 version of yourself that just easily attracts that woman into your life. Now, with that being said, there are genetic limits to this, right? Like, I'm 5'11". I'm never gonna be a 6'5" guy who towers over the crowd. Obviously, unless I get surgery in my legs, which most people aren't gonna do. I'm not gonna do that. I can't change my facial bone structure. It's set in stone. It's just, it is what it is. I can't increase my IQ. All right, so there are certain things genetically you can't change. With that said, it doesn't matter, okay, because what are you going to do? Are you going to give up? Are you going to be one of those guys who complains online? Nobody respects those guys. I don't think that's you watching this video. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter where you're coming from. And I've seen this. I've helped 5'3", 5'4" guys to date some pretty beautiful women. I've helped guys who are virgins in their 30s to attract their dream partner. And so if these guys can do it, so can you. All right, we have the luxury as men to actually build ourselves up. Women do not have this luxury. You have to understand how much of a gift it is to be a man, okay? Because if you're a woman, then it is true. Your value, at least in the dating market, is 100% almost, I wouldn't say 100%, it's almost all determined by your looks and your youthfulness. Almost all of it. And then just don't be annoying. It's that simple. There's not much you can change there. All right, based on genetics. As a guy, you can do so much to become the 10 out of 10 version of yourself. So it's honestly a blessing. So how do you do this? How do you actually become that 10 out of 10 version of yourself? And it's pretty fun, actually. All you have to do is reverse engineer it. What beliefs would the 10 out of 10 version of yourself have? Do you believe that you're valuable to women? Or do you believe you have nothing to bring to the table other than money, other than muscles? Do you believe that you're attractive or that you're ugly? What are your beliefs? What does the 10 out of 10 version of yourself believe about yourself? Are you funny? Are you able to give that woman an amazing experience or not? Okay, so you have to dissect what are the limiting beliefs that have you trapped in this current identity, and then you have to systematically delete these one by one. Okay, so I'll give you an example. There's certain guys out there who have limiting beliefs about cold approach. They say, oh, and this is something I had in the past too, my friends, my family, they were all telling me, Joseph, it's 2025. You can't just talk to women. You have to set up an online dating profile, right? So that is what a lot of, I would call them normies in society, are going to tell you, because that's the sort of herd mentality. And a lot of guys have this limiting belief. Women don't want to be approached. So what you have to do is you have to dissect this and ask yourself, is this true? Is there evidence that all women really don't like to be approached? Do you have definitive evidence that this is the case? Probably not. Okay, what is the evidence against this belief? Are there women who like to be approached? Are there guys who are succeeding with this? And I honestly don't even like the word approach because it makes it into this thing. At the end of the day, you're just meeting a girl. That's it. You're talking to a girl. Okay, so are there guys who are succeeding with this? Are there guys who are meeting women out in the park, out in a bar, at a party, or wherever, at a beach? And the answer is 100% yes. We know this for a fact. We all know people in our lives who have done this. I'm walking proof. My parents met each other in a bar. Okay, so what you have to do is you now have to observe the effect that this new belief has on you, because you want to change this belief to be more real. Like, okay, some women might not like to be approached in certain situations. Some women do like to be approached in pretty much every situation. If it's by a guy who's not weird, who's not being needy, okay, who actually makes her feel better than when she was going along with her, normal, in many cases, boring life, right? So that would be a realistic belief. Like, yeah, some women do like to be approached. Some women are going to be receptive. Obviously, there's times when they're not going to be, but obviously, there's times when they are going to be. And we know this for a fact. Now, observe the effect that this has on you. How does that feel? How much more freedom does that give you? How much more opportunities does that create? Okay, and I would take it a step further, and it's like, if you want to become the 10 out of 10 version of yourself, then what does he believe? Well, he believes that women like to be approached by him. And that is my belief. Women love when I say hi. Women love me. I love women. It's a great symbiotic relationship. I love myself. It's great. Now you might be asking yourself, but Joseph, are you telling me to be delusional to just say, oh, women love when I approach them, when really I don't have any evidence for that? That's not the case. Or maybe I haven't had a lot of success in the past with doing that. And you're right. Okay, you actually do need to collect evidence for this new belief, this new identity that you're stepping into. But first you need to set that as who you want to be. Okay, you don't become Muhammad Ali. You don't become Mike Tyson by saying, I don't believe in myself. I'm not really sure if I'm going to win this fight. I'm not really sure. That's just not that's not how champions are created. They first have to decide that that's the identity they want to step into, that that's who they are. And then they become that person. So how do you become that person? How do you reinforce this new version of yourself, these beliefs? Well, what habits does the 10 out of 10 version of yourself have? Okay, are you looking at idiotic things online, inappropriate websites, as I call them on YouTube because I have to? Are you not going out on the weekend? Are you locking yourself in the house for days on end, not talking to a soul, and then wondering why it might be a little hard to connect with people? What are your habits? I mean, do you have a purpose in life? Like, do you have things that you're aiming towards in your professional life, maybe spiritually, maybe with your friends, your family, relationships? What are you aiming for? Is there anything? Okay, so what are you working towards? So you create the habits of the 10 out of 10 version of yourself. Then you have to ask yourself, what is the skill set that the 10 out of 10 version of myself has? Meaning, what are your social skills? Okay, are you able to hold a conversation for an hour long? Because I know for a fact that 90% of guys cannot hold a conversation with a girl for over 2 minutes. Now they can, but really it's a conversation that is not going to lead to anywhere. And by the way, I've listened to hundreds of my clients' actual conversations with women, and I work with them one-on-one for weeks. Okay, and so most guys cannot hold a conversation with a woman other than if they're repetitively asking them boring questions, interrogating them, or talking about something that has nothing to do with him, the girl, or them together. So, for example, you're talking to the front desk girl at the gym and you're just talking about the gym. So that's an example. Okay, what is your skill set? Are you able to actually flirt with the girl? I'm pretty sure the 10 out of 10 version of yourself is confident with flirting. Every single guy I know that is extremely charismatic with women, who women love, they know how to flirt. They know how to make the girl feel something within. Okay, so what is the skill set you have? And that's created by habits. That's the things you do day in and day out. Now, what environment does the 10 out of 10 version of yourself reside in? Meaning, who are you surrounding yourself with? Okay, are your friends negative? You know, I've had friends in the past who they go out and they're literally like combative with women. They're arguing with women. They're negative, okay? Or are you surrounding yourself with people who lift you up? People who are also good with women, people who have positive beliefs about themselves and the world, because this is going to rub off on you through osmosis. And what are you inputting into your brain? What content are you watching on a regular basis? Okay, I used to watch Fresh and Fit years ago, right? And so if you watch this content and they're bringing like the lowest of the low women onto the show every single day or week, I don't know how often they do it, then that's how you're going to start to view all women. Okay, are you watching guys who are negative about women? That's how you're going to feel about women. Your thoughts are going to become you over time. This is so important. Okay, so I've pretty much given you exactly how to shift your identity. You need to go out and start taking the actions that reinforce that you are a 10 out of 10, your version of a 10 out of 10, your full potential. And then it's just going to become so easy for you. By the way, if you would like my personal help with this stuff, I've created a system that's already helped a lot of guys transform their confidence, their social confidence. And it's helped them become the version of themselves that doesn't really have to worry about women that much. You can just click the link in the description and then you can book a free call with me. Now, the third step to this is understanding that there's going to be blocks that stop you from reaching your new identity. Okay, because change is scary. You know, you and me and the human mind, it has a tendency to just stay the same, to just be consistent, to take the least path of resistance, to conserve energy. Okay, it's sort of like a hermit crab. You know, because a hermit crab, he's only going to want to take the risk to leave his shell to find a different shell if he has to. If he's outgrown his shell, if there's something going on in the water, in the environment or something, and he absolutely has to leave his shell. Because when he leaves his shell, that's when he's vulnerable, right? He might get picked up by a fish who eats him. And people are the same way. So right now, your current identity, it's a collection, your neural pathways have been formed to fire a certain way over time. And it takes effort to rewire that into a new person. All right, so you're gonna have blocks to actually shifting your identity. You're gonna go out, you're gonna have a great interaction with a girl that goes pretty well. You'll get the number, and then your old identity will be telling you, that was stupid. That was awkward. You were terrible there. Dude, I can't believe you said that. Wow. Dude, you really are something. And objectively, you could have literally gotten her number. But your brain is stuck in that negativity. It's only gonna look at what went wrong. So what you wanna do is you wanna start getting results, obviously. And then you wanna take a mental screenshot and say, wait a second, I just got into my first 2-minute conversation with a woman that I just met out on the street. Hopefully not the first one in your life, right? I just got into my first 5-minute conversation. That is my new identity. I am somebody who can go up to a very attractive girl and hold a 5-minute conversation, no problem. I am somebody who has gotten a phone number from a girl, and then it's gonna be, I'm somebody who has actually gone on a date with a girl that I met at the coffee shop, and she was pretty cute. That is who I am. And you need to really think about that and dwell on that for a second. Because your brain's gonna try to ignore that. It's gonna try to say, oh, it was lucky. Oh, she just felt bad. All of these tricks are gonna start being played in your mind. All right, so I'll give you the definitive answer, which is step 4 of how you get through all of these blocks and really solidify this new version of yourself. And so what you really have to do, because it is a bit scary, it's like you're rewiring your brain, right? So it's a bit scary. And you have to decide that being uncomfortable with this new shift, because it's like growing pains, right? It's like when you're a kid and you're experiencing growing pains. So you have to decide that this bit of, being uncomfortable, it's less than the pain of what you're currently experiencing. Because people are only motivated by pain and pleasure. And pain is really the only thing that motivates people to actually take action. Pain is more of a motivator than pleasure. There's a chicken that scared me. So what you have to do is you have to put yourself into a position that forces yourself to succeed and become the version of yourself that you know you want to be. Okay, I'll tell you a story of how this happened to me in my past. So, I dropped out of college when I was 18, or I didn't go back after my freshman year. I became a pool boy. I was cleaning pools. At this time, I didn't have a lot of friends. All my friends went to college. I didn't really have anybody. I had just went through a breakup even too. So I had like nobody. I was working at this job as a pool boy. I would go on social media. Everybody was partying at university. And look at me, cleaning pools every day, smelling chlorine and decaying frogs. Lonely. It was the darkest period of my life. Okay, so I decided, socially anxious. And I decided to myself, I needed to change. This was not going to be the reality of my life. And so I did something a little bit crazy, which is I went on Indeed looking for new jobs. And I actually saw a job which was a door-to-door salesman job for a roofing company, setting up appointments for free roofing estimates. And I had social anxiety severely. I couldn't look somebody in the eye. But I said to myself, okay, I have to do this. I have to do this because I have to overcome my social anxiety. I have to get out of this position making no money. I have no choice. And guess what? The first week, I sucked. I didn't set a single free roofing estimate. Not one. Second week, same thing. I started to doubt myself. I started to think, maybe I just don't have what it takes to really do this. But there was no way I was going to quit and go back to cleaning pools. So I stuck in there. I kept modeling the behaviors of the people around me who were succeeding. You know, luckily, if you put yourself in a position like that, you are going to be surrounded by other winners who can sort of lift you up. So I had that beautiful opportunity. You know, luckily on week 3, I set my first appointment and I was ecstatic. Okay, it completely shifted my beliefs about myself immediately. I couldn't believe that I was able to just walk up to a random home residence, knock on their door, and then actually like have them want to sign up to get a free estimate. It blew my mind. Okay? Absolutely blew my mind. And so this only happened because I had to take on the identity of somebody who was successful in doing this. I had no other choice. And so I just did. I just won. The pain was too great to turn back. And so that's how you do it. You have to understand your why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to, become socially confident? Why do you want to be charismatic with women? What's your reasoning? Okay, for some guys I've heard, I one day I want to have a wife. One day I want to have kids. That's commendable. That's respectable. I want to go on romantic adventures. I just want that as a part of my life. Okay, I respect that. Totally. But then the other side of it is look at where you don't want to go. Where a lot of guys end up, which is procrastinating for years. I'll do it once I get that PhD. I'll do it once I move to that new city. That's when I'll finally put myself out there and get a girlfriend. Maybe maybe once I weigh 200 pounds, lean, muscle, that's when I'll put myself out there. They keep doing that for years. Guess where they end up? 40, 50, 55, 60, unable to talk to women. It's a bit harder when you're 60 years old. It's a bit harder, when you're 55 years old, okay, to be a guy who can't hold a conversation. Once you're that age, people expect you to be able to hold a conversation. And that's just facts. That's just reality. And when you're young, you think you have all the time in the world. Oh, I'm young, I'm 25, oh, I'm 30, that's okay. I thought the same thing. I thought the exact same thing. Back when I was a video game nerd, wasting all my teenage years, not socializing, playing video games, watching YouTube, I said, oh, that's okay, I'm young, I get to fuck around. I get to socially isolate myself. I'll figure it out when I'm 20. I'll figure it out later in my life. Obviously, in hindsight, that probably wasn't the best decision because I just had to work harder that way. And so whatever age you are now, it's okay. Like if you decide that you want to change now, we can do it pretty lickety split if you just stay consistent. If this is just something that you decide you want to do every single day, you can make this change pretty fast. I'm talking, I've helped guys who were complete virgins actually get their first girlfriend within a week. Now, I've helped guys, do some crazy stunts. Obviously, it's going to be different based off of who you are, but I'm telling you, consistency is everything. You can make some massive changes. If you're a guy that's not really having a dating life that excites you, if you're a guy that, finds it hard to, talk to the pretty girl or hold a conversation or really make things playful or flirtatious, or you're not really consistently going on dates that often, and you would like my personal help, then I would love to help you. So like I said, I've created a system over the last 4 years. It helps guys become socially confident, and it helps guys become the leader who women are naturally just drawn in by. If you would like to book a free strategy session with me, click the link below this video and book a free call with me. We will create a strategy for your dating life, and I will show you how to start getting some results right away. But that's all I have for the video today, guys, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.